Are you asleep yet? I saw Danny dancing to that intro like you've never seen Danny dance before. So I'm good for his health because I'm trying to make him look more svelte and handsome by out Dannying Danny, and B, I'm helping you exercise. So, Danny, the GFP, welcome to the show.
Hello, young Michael, you fine figure of a human being. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I can't complain. The number of people I host this show with is just dropping like flies, and now I'm digging back into my past to see if there's anyone that still wants to podcast. So,
down.
This was a late conceived idea, probably an ill-conceived idea, as a matter of fact. But Andy and Owen both on either family or work duties, or family work duties, or work family duties. I, of course, seem to just always want to click play lately. And so who better to join me? Who better with historical viewpoints, with anecdotes that come out of nowhere, with hair being scratched and scalp being scratched at all times. Then Danny from a Burkamp Wonderland. So the draw's getting ready to start. It's a weird one today, Danny, because they're doing both the fourth and the fifth round at the same time. They're not going to play the fourth and the fifth round at the same time, are they?
I wouldn't be surprised. 60 minutes a game, two halves of 30 minutes. Get it all out of the way. Go full NA.
They'll play long ways. Like they'll play like the left and the right touch line will be the end lines, and they'll have two games going on at the same time, like they do kind of
down the middle. Get it done, but it makes it harder for them to rig the draw this way, I think. So it's going to be fun seeing how they do manage to rig that we're away to a big Premier League team, and Spurs, Liverpool, Man City, they all get teams from children's teams under 16.
And then we get linked up with them. So Manchester United will be against Chorley, but not. And then that'll be our matchup for the the away matchup for the fifth round after we somehow get by. I don't know, Chelsea again, maybe.
But scumbags is what we're saying.
Just as a preview, we've got in this draw, we have 34 teams remaining, 2 ties still to be played, 15 Premier League teams out of the 20 are still in, 11 championship teams, and an entire 8 teams from below championship, 4 League One, 2 League Two, 1 Bramalama Ding Dong National League, and then 1 6th-tier team, which is the aforementioned Chorley. So just, I don't know, it seems a little, are there always as many as 11 championship teams in? I guess that kind of makes sense because you've got your third round matchups, where Premier Leagues knock each other out. So it is, it just feels wide open to me. I don't know how it feels to you, Danny. How does it feel to you?
All the big teams are still in it. There's, I think 3 or 4 Premier League teams went out in the last round, which is good for us. But people are going to fear us because, unfortunately, Arsenal are now a cup team, but just not a Europa League Cup team. So,
and not a League Cup team either. So we're it's down to FA, Emirates, International Champions League, and those are the cups that we win at this point.
We need the money from a decent run because I think you get a couple of million quid for winning the FA Cup again, and we need that to pay off shitty players to leave the club. So, the sooner that happens, the better.
Yeah, it's not bad enough we've committed ourselves to awful salaries. We now need to go from a slush fund to just give these guys money to leave with their salary money.
I think it's like some kind of thing when you get divorced and you have to sign over a certain percentage of your wages for the next 20 or 30 years. Yeah, and so there's certain players that are going to want their money. And so we need to get as much money in and get as far as many cup competitions as possible. So who do you want? Who would you like?
Oh boy, I'd like for the draw to go live. It's on Facebook live right now. I don't know if you're getting the going live in 0 that I am, but it's lying because 0 seconds would be like right now, and it's not.
Oh, there she is.
Who do I want to draw? I'd take a nice championship team. I mean, we don't need to go all the way down to the bottom there, but I would easily take, let's say like a Barnsley or. A team of that level, not the Norwiches that are looking back to get up in the league. But honestly, look, I was looking back at our 7. There we go. Our 7 last FA Cup cycles, starting in 2014 when we won and going up into last year when we also won. And for anyone that says we always get screwed in the draw, you're forgetting how many championship teams we've played. You're forgetting Sutton United and Lincoln back to back in fifth in the fourth and fifth rounds, or was it the fifth and sixth rounds actually? I think that was. So it's impossible to get through the cup without playing some good teams. But I would doubt and I would deny the rumor that we're always getting screwed, because usually where we get screwed early on, we end up having an easier run later once we get through it, and vice versa. So,
true.
Did they just put up the teams in the draw on your stream? Just want to make sure that we're synchronized with each other as we normally are.
We are both watching the Facebook draw. It's Big Peter Crouch and some woman I've never heard of.
I think Peter Crouch could still do a job, especially when we were throwing in all those crosses out of nowhere a couple games ago. Do
a better job than Giroud.
We would have won 21-2, I think, if he had been playing in that one game.
I think he still holds the record for the most number of goals in the Premier League from a header, which isn't surprising. But yeah, he was saying on his podcast that he retired, but he I think the Burnley manager wanted him to come back and do another season. He said, I think I could have done it, but I just thought it was the right time to retire. Have you listened to his podcast?
He looks fit, and his podcast is the only one funnier than the two of ours.
Definitely.
So I think we're off. They've just they've dumped the balls. Peter Crouch always a humorous guy. The first home game of the fourth round is number 32. That's Cheltenham Town.
Oh,
fifth in League Two.
I would say a good draw. Oh, see, they got.
You want to go away to Cheltenham Town? I mean, of course I do.
Have you seen what the draw thing is yet?
25. 25 is Manchester City going to Crawley Town or Cheltenham Town.
I think I'm ahead of you on the stream, because they just picked out the second ball of the next round draw.
Okay, well you're going to have to do some acting then.
Refresh your stream.
Bournemouth at home against Crawley Town. There's Crawley Town. That's a good draw for Bournemouth. I would take that. What else we got? I can't do it at this point, Danny. Swansea City, second in the championship.
I've paused mine, so I'm level with yours.
Lovely. See, you're the full service guy. Nottingham Forest, championship versus championship. I did not fancy playing Forest. We just don't do well with them in the cup.
They're in fear of relegation.
Manchester United get a home game. This is obviously where they're going to pick ball 12.
We don't want this.
This is going to be us. It's not.
I'm a 23, Sol Campbell.
It is Liverpool, though.
Oh, hello.
United hosting Liverpool in the fourth round draw. How about that?
I like that.
That's going to be a cracker. The next game is number 2, Southampton or Shrewsbury Town.
We don't really want that.
No, I wouldn't like to see that. But it's us.
Oh, bollocks.
Southampton visited by Arsenal. Now we could certainly see Shrewsbury Town win this game, and now it's one to watch.
No, we won't.
We're going to St. Mary's again. All right, Barnsley is hosting. Does the rest really matter at this point? Barnsley is hosting Norwich.
Norwich. That'd be a win for Norwich.
You know what? Chorley has a home game. Please let this be somebody good. It's Wolves. That's a good one. Wolves,
Yeah, Chorley will get, I think, probably about 75 grand for being live.
I can see the Wolves, like their entire team, getting coronavirus right before the game and yet being forced to play, so that Millwall with a home game. So I fear for the Bristol City supporters that are not going to be allowed to go.
I do like Bristol City. 31.
Brighton hosting in the FA Cup. The numbers are getting smaller. Could be who's it going to be? It's Blackpool.
So what we'd ideally like is Spurs Chelsea as one of the draws. Or
now keep in mind that should we get past Southampton or Shrewsbury, we will be finding out very shortly who our next opponent would be. And there are some. Okay, here's Tottenham playing at Wickham.
Wickham.
Did they not play Wickham last year or the year before? Like I swear they played a team like that. So that'll be our next match. I almost guarantee you. We can play Shrewsbury and then Wickham, or it could end up Southampton and then Tottenham. But
we don't want that.
Fulham hosting Burnley, Sheffield United.
Last season, Spurs played Middlesbrough, Southampton.
I think it was 2 years ago. Plymouth, Sheffield United hosting Plymouth. There's still a non-league possibility here in Stockport. Chelsea with a home game. Just about everybody but City getting home games, and us against Luton. I could make a joke there, but I'm not going to.
Very big of you.
Stockport West Ham winner will be at home against more than likely another top 2-tier side. Doncaster. Actually, they get the League One side.
Yeah, that's a decent thing for West Ham. That's them through.
They could be making a deep run in the cup. Brentford at home against either Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester, or
hopefully
Everton.
Sheffield Wednesday. Come on, Sheffield Wednesday.
It is Leicester City, which means Everton and Sheffield Wednesday will play.
Brentford are a decent team, though. That'll be hard for Leicester.
And it's going to be at Everton. So Everton avoid being a Liverpool team traveling to Hillsborough this year.
That's good.
Yeah, never like to see that. All right, so I think they're going to pretty quickly go to the next round, but they got to shuffle everything together now. Unprecedented scenes here at the FA headquarters. I think
they'll have to do pick out draw number 1 from the last round, and then because they ain't got time to write up all these balls, have they? Unless they have numbers to them. Yeah, they would probably. Well, they probably kept all of the. I don't know how they're going to do it. To be honest with you, I haven't had enough. I need some time to think about it. But we don't have time. So I saw on Twitter last night. I think it was from Jack Stevenson, a class act. Like him, very generous to your gives tickets away, didn't he? He's given tickets to our auction. He has sold his tickets to me for games I've been at, they're 2 of the best tickets in the stadium. But the point was, he said he liked the idea of the 4th and the 5th round draw at the same time. In fact, he'd like to see them do the whole thing at one time. And I don't. You do in American sports, isn't it? American sports, you have it all. The MLS Cup and things, they're all planned out all the way. Well. But that's because the brackets and the matchups are based on, they try to match the best team against the worst team, and then they go all the way through. And sometimes they do reseed them. For this, which is a completely random draw, for them to do the whole way through, I mean, it just seems like early in January you could basically see that you've got zero possibility of winning the cup. Well, they tried it with doing this with the League Cup a few years ago, and I think they did it 1 or 2 seasons. They didn't like it. And so they got rid of it. I don't like it when they do doing it out like this, because the whole part of the fun of the FA Cup is the draw and seeing who you're going to get. So the next 2 are going to be done. So after this is the 5th round, and then the semi-final, because we don't have quarterfinals in the FA Cup. They call it the 6th round. Yeah, so it's 5th round, 6th round, and then the semis. Yeah, and the final. So. I don't know. I like how things are different than they are over here. I mean, you have the college basketball tournament at the end of the season is the best example of, the 64 teams, and they're all basically plunked into a spot, and the winners approach and the winners, and they don't redraw it every time. So they're acting like this is done, but I don't think it's done. I think they're just starting the. It's good for Chorley, because Chorley got 61,000 from the last round for getting through. They're going to get 90,000 for playing in this round. This round hasn't been split up. It says 90,000. It doesn't say winners and losers just yet. But then 5th round, you get 180 grand. So I think looking at the splits, it's probably going to be what's that going to be? A quarter, 3/4 split with the money. That's what's happening in the last few rounds. You got to feel for some of the lower level clubs that didn't even get to have the share of the proceeds from the game day. I mean, I know that there's been other financial measures taken, but some of the teams, like the team that Spurs played yesterday, the hotel guys that Spurs were celebrating like they won the Champions League against, but ridiculous. What are that? Vinicius or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolute tool.
Is he on loan or was he signed from? And he was from Real Madrid.
I'm
thinking of the right guy. No, I might not be thinking of the right guy, but like to go from that to I'm celebrating against a busboy is pretty muggy.
Oh, he's on loan from Benfica. 25-year-old Brazilian. Yeah, ridiculous.
So when is that Southampton Shrewsbury town today? That was rescheduled from Saturday, and I don't know that there is a date for that. So
there's two. There's one tonight, which is going to be Stockport West Ham, and then the Southampton Shrewsbury hasn't been given another date yet. Why was it postponed? COVID?
I can only imagine. I mean, was it? I think it's Southampton was the home team, so I can't think of any other reason that it would have been postponed.
Well, there's been tweeting today. I think Simon Collins tweeted that there is 36 current Premier League players have got COVID or are not shielding in isolation because of COVID, possibly.
They just go like this, and it solves everything.
What do you think the upset of the last round was then? Have they done the start of the draw? Are they still still got technical issues? Unlike you, look, they should have got you to do it. It wouldn't work perfectly. Yeah. The shock of the last round. What would you say it was?
There weren't too many really. Almost was Brighton getting knocked out. I mean, Brighton they went down to a fantastic shootout. They went down to penalties against what was it, Newport? And
because the judges played in that, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and
he even tweeted it.
So
and then, Blackpool beating West Brom.
I mean, really, none of the top teams lost to lower division teams. I don't know. Chat, what do you think was the? If you're in the chat, what was your vote for the biggest one? Leeds getting knocked out. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Crawley Town beating Leeds.
Well, West Brom lost to Blackpool. Blackpool are a League One team.
Crawley Town's League Two, and West Brom are barely Premier League. So yeah, definitely forgot about this one. That would have been the.
Chorley getting through. That's a good result. I think they were saying with the team Marine, they'd had to play 8 games to get this far in the competition already. Yeah,
there were like 4 qualifying rounds and then the proper first and second round, but there were sub-qualifying rounds to the qualifying rounds. It's crazy. So, all right, now we got there are new balls that are for 2 teams. We are ball number 5.
Number 5, Steve Bold. So what don't we want here? We don't want the Liverpool Man United. That's the only one we don't want.
I mean, I wouldn't want anyone that. I mean, look, if you're looking at playing weaker teams and worrying about it later, I wouldn't want any game involving a Premier League team, especially one of the top 6. I mean, if it's Liverpool United and if the other one is Manchester City against Cheltenham Town, I mean, that's basically the same. All right.
Yeah, but that's if we get past Southampton. Oh, here we go. First ball.
Ball 11. Fulham or Burnley?
Oh, that's an okay for us.
Hosting, it's not us. It's Bournemouth or Crawley Town.
Oh. Next one.
Ball number 4. That's not us. Manchester United, Liverpool hosting. This is don't be us.
Not 5.
Don't be us. 5. It's not. 14.
Hey.
Is Stockport, West Ham, or Doncaster Rovers.
Well, that's a mismatch. That's 22 players against 33 players.
Ball number 12. Sheffield United, Plymouth Argyle. I'll take this.
Yeah, definitely. This would be a good one.
That's even away from home. I'll take this. Nope. We didn't get it. Millwall and Bristol City. Here's all these basically lower level Premier League, upper level championship ties. Someone's going to get into the quarterfinals.
7.
7. Chorley and Wolves.
Oh, I don't really want that. Wolves are.
I don't fancy going to Wolverhampton, but we will be.
2 away games in the FA Cup. Didn't we go when we won it one year? Didn't we get every single round?
Every single game was at home. Yeah. So we're playing. So we could be playing. We could be playing Chorley, my friend.
Yeah, not good though.
Barnsley and Norwich. The winner of that one will be hosting Chelsea or Luton Town. I think there's got to be 2 left. Everton, Sheffield, Wednesday will be hosting the winner of
Mesut Ozil.
Wickham and Tottenham.
Oh, that's a good one for Spurs. They might lose that.
Everton and Spurs at Goodison. Swansea and Nottingham Forest. Second to last game here against Cheltenham Town, Manchester City. That's an easy road for City, man.
Here we go. I think this is the last one.
Again. And last and least, Brentford or Leicester City, which should be a good matchup in the fourth round.
Yeah.
Hosting the winner of Brighton or Blackpool.
Brentford are one of the best championship teams. I think for Brentford, it depends on whether they want to try and get promoted or whether they're going to try and get further in the FA Cup. But with no ticket sales, it's going to take these clubs will look at that and go, well, we're not going to make a couple of $100,000 in ticket sales. So why would we risk getting promoted and being on that £300 million gravy train?
So, Chad, what do you think about the draw? I know Matthew D'Souza thinks that Williams going to go to town on them. I don't know what town that would be other than shit town or bench town. I hope, but I will mark those words and then I will get back to you as to the result afterwards. Drago, this is our cup, lads. Fear no one. Alexander does not particularly like this draw. I mean, no hint of a non-Premier League club in this, really. I mean, Southampton will be our opponent, and then Wolves will be our opponent. Two of our bigger bogey teams in the last couple of years. It's not an easy draw, but all that means is when we get through, the path should be clear, and we'll be playing Chorley. If Wolves don't win, we'll be playing Luton Town and in the big derby. Who knows? So do you feel worse now knowing that it's Wolves or Chorley, or is it more exciting and you want to really now get past Southampton more?
It's going to be Wolves. Chorley aren't going to beat Wolves. Wolves are a very good team. And so it's going to be Southampton that we're playing. I don't know if you've ever seen
Chorley play. I mean, they are something else, man.
You don't have to see Chorley playing to know that they're not going to beat Southampton and beat Wolves. So, so we're going to be playing Southampton, and if we beat them, we'll be playing Wolves. We can win both the games. Didn't we play Southampton recently? And was it at their place or ours? I forget what's home and away now.
Yeah, I think it was at ours, and we lost to them because we were still in the shit with the stupid lineup and the crossing and the.
Oh, it was ours. Yeah, we drew 1-1.
Oh, yeah, it just felt like a loss, I think.
Yeah, and we scored. They scored with Theo Walcott, didn't it? Because everyone was complaining.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And Alba scored with an Eddie Nketiah assist. And that's the game we played. Nketiah up front with Alba on one side and Pepe on the other. And the one Gabriel got sent off in.
That's right.
I vaguely remember it.
How was Saka not playing in that game? I don't understand.
On the Southampton one?
If that was our front three, then
no, Saka was playing left wing back because we played three at the back.
All right, Mike, we're going to do this because I thought actually when I read it real quick that you were asking us that question. Danny, what AFC related question makes you, and that doesn't mean the conference that Miami Dolphins play in. What AFC related question makes you rant every time it's asked? For Mike, it's is Ozil a legend? It doesn't make me rant. It's just that the answer is no.
No, it's not. No, because he's done fuck all since 2018, 19, something like that. That question, and should we have left Highbury? Of course we fucking shouldn't. We should still be there. We'd have still been there. All that £500 million and all that other stuff that it cost us, we could have spent that and made some of our best players stay. Imagine, even if 2 or 3 out of the likes of Vieira, Henry, Van Persie, Fabregas, Sanchez, I don't know if Sanchez can be classed as that, but all those players who left because they wanted to go and play better football. If we'd have won the Champions League the season after we were in the final, then those players wouldn't be asking to leave. They wouldn't be looking at Inter Milan and Juventus going, I want to go there and win stuff. They'd have gone, I'm staying here, try and win more stuff. So, yeah, is Ozil a legend? No, he's fucking not.
No, what's that got to do with leaving Highbury in the sense that, I mean, you got a limit to how much game day revenue you can get from a Highbury. And I mean, look, I'm not claiming that it's worked out like we were told. I'm not claiming that we weren't lied to, that we weren't that things haven't gone to absolute shit with turnover of personnel and all that. I'm not saying it's worked out. And I do know what Highbury was like, so it's not like a newfangled fan who doesn't have the perspective on that. Believe me, it killed me to see seats in the North Bank, much less moving to another stadium. But I just don't see how any team with a sub 40,000 seat, old, non-renovated, no luxury. I mean, in this era of money, how were we supposed to compete with the kind of income you would get from a Highbury?
It's not all about income, is it?
Well,
you also get money. You get money from winning tournaments, and we did nothing. And those players probably would have stayed. And £500 million the new stadium cost us. We could have put that into the team.
Look, I mean, I wish it didn't change, but I don't know that in this. I mean, you look at the teams that are at the top, and they're all 60,000 plus stadiums. They're either renovated or brand new. Everton's doing the same thing. It does make visiting the older stadiums, the ones that are like Highbury, like when I visit Palace or there's a couple of others in London that are just, they bring back those memories. But those teams are not at the top of the pyramid. So Alexander says every time we score at Highbury, I think that scored at Highbury. I have scored at Highbury. No, I haven't actually. It was a magical feeling. The ground was beautiful and magical, and you were so close to the pitch. Which is my favorite thing. I saw a picture of some guy sitting pitch side one time that I just fell in love with, and that just wouldn't happen at the end. So I don't think it would happen. David Ziegler, he's David now. We'll give him David again. We tend to lose to smaller teams rather than big ones in the FA Cup. I mean, that is pretty true. I had worked out a list of basically our pathways, and it's stuck in the printer outside of my office room now. So that was good planning. But yeah, Forest, Watford, Blackburn, Sunderland. You can look at the teams we lost to before 2014, and that's where most of these were. But our three losses, the three times we didn't get to the final, we lost to Forest, Watford, and I think Manchester United. So yeah, I guess that it does kind of make me a little more nervous playing Wolves. Are Wolves and Southampton big ones, or are they smaller at this point? Are they big ones enough that we could feel confident about beating them, is what I'm asking?
Southampton are a very good team. They have got, after they took that smashing against Leicester, for them not to sack the manager and for them to go and beat Liverpool the other week and beat them convincingly, they're a decent team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to Southampton. This run of 4 wins in a row has got to end. So that much glory, we can't cope with that much positivity in the Arsenal world. So, but it's going to be so hard to go there. It all depends on whether Southampton are going to want to try and push for the league. I think that makes a point with a lot of the teams that are playing in the FA Cup. Do they want to do well in the league, or do they want to go on a cup run? I think for us, we don't need to go on a cup run. What we need is to get further up the league and do well in the Europa League, because we've already won the FA Cup and we need to get into Europe again. I don't want to.
But the owners of our team think the FA Cup is like the Super Bowl. So as disgusting as that statement is, we'll always put out a strong team, I think, for the FA Cup, especially against another Premier League team in the 4th round and or 5th round.
It all depends on who we're going to get in, because we're after a new goalkeeper. Mikel has said today that we're looking for a new goalkeeper, so that's probably going to be a kind of deal that Hart going to Spurs. There's been a few, like Jack Butland. He left Stoke and he's gone to Crystal Palace. That is the kind of backup goalkeeper that I'd have loved. I think they only paid £5 or £6 million for him. That was a mistake not going for him, because that's an England international. And once he gets his form back and starts playing regularly, he's going to be a good goalkeeper, although he played in goal for Crystal Palace, I think, and they got knocked out of the FA Cup. So but we're going to end up with David James or Bad Jens.
Another question from David Ziegler is, what do Andy and Stamford Bridge have in common?
They got fat arses.
Well, and they smell awful and
dodgy haircuts.
David is so funny on a regular basis that he has to actually tell us when he's not being funny. He has to actually put it in print. He has to say, "Not being funny. It smells awful around there." Alexander with another question. Guys, can you describe Williams' performance in FA Cup? Before the podcast, Danny and I were both talking about a specific thing that we needed to do as soon as the pod was over. And it involves sitting down and pushing. And that's how I would best describe Williams' performance in the FA Cup. So,
yeah, shit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. This was always meant to be a short podcast. I have things to do, places to be. A little anticlimactic. It went a little too quick. I don't love the buildup of the Champions League draw. It just gets on my nerves. But this was too fast. You don't even have time to talk about the lineups or not the lineups, but the matchups and reminisce about Coventry City and
Sutton United,
and all those great games we played.
Where'd they get in the FA Cup this season? Did they do well?
Sutton, no. I think I do still follow them.
They still got Pie Bloke there in goal.
No. They sacked him after the FA Cup final because
after Piegate.
Yes, because of the game. He got a suspension from the FA. Wayne Shaw got a suspension from the FA for betting or for influencing betting markets.
Oh, for at what point he would eat the pie?
Yeah, because he knew that there was a bet on that, and so he intentionally. I mean, and that's a lose-lose situation because you could also say he would have influenced betting markets had he not eaten the pie. But so they suspended him. Sutton was pretty much turned on him and said, "You've embarrassed our club, brought us into disrepute. We wanted the focus to be on the game, and you made it about yourself." And he was kind of like persona non grata there for about 9 months until a certain American-based Arsenal podcaster reached out to him and said, we're going down to Sutton against Chester on Tuesday night. Do you fancy coming and meeting us there? And he said, it's about time I go back. I'd like to mend some fences. And so the first game back for Wayne Shaw, back at Gander Green Lane, not first game, but the first time he was back, period, at the stadium. He was dragged there by me and a couple of my mates, and just as soon as he got there, he was mobbed by people. We practically didn't see him for the whole rest of the night, but we were at a pub beforehand playing pool and having a couple of beers and hearing his story, and then we took him back there, and it was just hug after hug after hug. People missed him. So that is an interesting little tidbit about how we reunited the roly-poly goalie and Sutton. But I'm still a fan of the club. It's a cool place to go. You got to watch a game there at some point.
They got knocked out by Bromley in the fourth qualifying round in October.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Bromley. I was getting Bromley and Chorley mixed up. I was about to say at least they got knocked out by someone who's still going. But anyhow, thanks for joining us. We will be back later this week with another show. We'll let you know how. Danny, thanks for joining me.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
We, as the title of the show is, we basically won the FA Cup again this year, and I'm convinced more now with this draw. So cheers. Come on, you guys.